Links to my channel here over at SubScribe, are now over at Odyssey. So English soy boys really have no comparison to American soy boys. It's like soy on another level, and it's kind of a shame because the raw material is there for this dude to just not be such a bleeding pussy, but he is what he is. So he wrote this this article this long article where he's triggered by this game that's selling and is wildly successful. And in this article, he says that the wrong customers are buying. What a bizarre title. The wrong lack of diversity is attracting the wrong type of fans, and there's a growing demand for it. Well, no, there's not a growing demand for diversity. If there was, this game wouldn't be selling, and all that diverse, sweet baby black girl gamer cancer would be selling. And it doesn't. One of those games the other day was like 46 people were playing it or something. It sold 300 copies. So this guy, he writes this long articles about the wrong people are buying the product. How are the wrong customers buying something? You got to understand the mind of the soy boy. These are Coomer consumers who trust the government, media, medical industry, as we've seen over the past few years, and defend billion-dollar companies as the rebels that they see themselves. They're just so eager to jump in front of like a Disney because they know these Amazon, Disney, Netflix. They know that they're pushing their bizarre left-wing outgroup preference values. So they're angry, and as he writes this, and that's like that concept of outgroup preference for these soy boys, that's a lot of what you see here, where someone like him wants he wants to just parrot the party line on every piece of woke garbage. So he says a lot of pointless words about why we should want diversity and feminism, but it's like you're talking to a brick wall because the customer, us, we don't want those things. I mean, we could be a lot more frank than that, but the customer just does not want we don't have the same values. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that. So this game is selling, and this is what people want very clearly. But it had hundreds of thousands of people playing it. But to the soy boy, he's got to push Marxism into everything. He's trying to push his religion on us. And what happened when they used to say, like, well, not all things are for all people? It's like, well, this game is not for you, soy boy, Tom Foley. So the rock and sock connection, that was Mick Foley. If the game is selling, then it doesn't need feminism, which is cancer. That's the bottom line. Most of us are not globalist parasites, or in the case of this guy, just another useful idiot. We don't value diversity or feminism. We have in-group preferences. We think all the woke stuff is cancer, and almost nobody wants gay stuff. That's just, if you had to list like positives and minuses or Venn diagrams on what gets people into games and what pushes people away, and what's that? The black female protagonist says something like, "I did it with my mind," and she looks just ugly. Like people don't want woke and ugly because usually those two go together. So that's the thing is the gay stuff is a limiting agent for many people because gays will buy straight characters and stories, whatever, but straights don't buy gay stuff, or at least it just sells less. And it's like this with gays and or games and streaming shows and movies, where people want to see characters that look like they belong together. And yes, I know that's very triggering for these soy boys types. And if you have a game, it's a Klaus Schwab checklist. Like, yeah, but nobody really believes that kind of thing. If you have a game that looks like a BlackRock diversity checklist, who's usually going to be the one funding these games, make it woke, lame, diverse, and feminism, and Larry Finkel signed the check. People just are not into it, especially now. People have been pushing back much more now than before. If you want to make diverse feminist games for soy boys, okay, there's not a huge audience for that, but knock yourself out. But then you're going to have to make normal games for the straight crowd. And there's this big energy for a return to normalcy. People have really had enough of diversity and the BLT stuff. And this whole article, he goes through and he says all these reasons why it should be diverse, gay, and feminist, and whatever kind of nonsense. But the short answer is the audience isn't into the woke stuff. So let's take a look at this article and get into the mind of the soy boy. So when he says the developers came under fire for streaming guidelines, That means by other soy boy media like himself. He prohibits creators talking about politics and feminist propaganda. And he puts that in quotes to try to belittle it. Like, we all know what feminist propaganda is. We're just not on board with it. They face criticism after alleged istophobic comments about they didn't need female players. Well, okay, fair enough. Because, hey, the game is selling tremendously well, so everything the game company is saying is correct, and everything this bleeding pussy is saying is incorrect, alongside an apparent slew of grotesque, oddly genitalia-focused remarks. Okay, well, I mean, it's their company discussion. They can talk however they want. And that doesn't have any, like, we don't care about that kind of stuff. And that doesn't have anything to do with the playability of the game or how good a movie is or how good a story is. That matters to these Bolshevik political commissars because they want to control every aspect of everything. So this led to hordes of self-proclaimed anti-woke fans coming out of the woodwork to celebrate Wukong's lack of diversity. That's a good thing. Diversity is cancer. All it takes is a brief glimpse at the comment section. Screen rant journalist who criticized lack of inclusion. He was bullied off the internet by rabid commenters. No one should ever face hate for doing their job. Well, you're pushing a toxic far left wing agenda. Inclusivity is just Marxist Frankfurt School talking points. It's cancer. It's all globalism, and globalism is toxic. And it's good to see the pendulum is swinging back a little bit, and most importantly, none of this stuff is happening in a vacuum. The external world and national affairs that people are living through for the past 4 years are changing people's preferences for out-group versus in-group. People really want to see their own tribe represented, or they want to see unity, not diversity, in games and stories in general. So he says this is a wider problem that's damaging the industry. Anti-woke gamers assemble. Well, that's the wider we see. We have to agree to disagree there, because people feel the wider problem is soy boys like yourself. So the Instagram page shared news of Wukong breaking records, and the comments are full of unsavory replies to a pussy like yourself from fans delighted the game isn't inclusive. Yeah, we don't value inclusivity. I mean, here's the thing. You have to say this stuff more and more, and you don't have to say why you don't value diversity, inclusion, equity, all those kind of like globalist talking points. You just have to use a bunch of hot words and buzzwords back at them. And it triggers them, which is why you should say it, because it's a lot of fun. And you don't have to explain it. You go, yeah, the customers are not into diversity. We think it's cancer. You say you value it, but then you don't actually go buy the games or go watch the movies. There's a whole string of the Marvels and Madam Web, and I don't even remember the one I just saw the other day with Jamie Lee Curtis, Borderlands or something. There's a whole string of these movies that are girl power movies or diversity-led movies. And the audience that claims to love this stuff doesn't go out and actually put their money where their mouth is. So something is wrong with this equation. Yeah, people are not into gay or woke. It had 4,000 likes. So proud of a game that doesn't support any genders or sexual orientation, unlike the other games. Liberals are in tears, and it sounds like right-wing gamers couldn't be happier. But the game is selling really well. Then Ryan Cannell triggers him quite a bit. A YouTube video, woke games journalist triggered over black myth Wukong. Well, this guy, Tom Foley, I showed you his pictures in the beginning. Like, he is a woke games journalist. I assume from his writing. Ooh, be careful here. I'm assuming he's also members of some other groups. So the comment picked similar picture. Getting this game just because it doesn't have diversity. Yeah, we're telling you what we value. All this is he gave it 8 out of 10. Gameplay-wise, it's fantastic, but he hasn't seen any female characters. I mean, like, you have one joke, but you can never define female, so what does it matter to you? So you're a woke soy boy, game journalist who's pushing this toxic Larry Fink, Klaus Schwab. Gee, we're raging against the machine. That's right. But you have every talking point from these these puppet masters. What happened to what was it, 2012, 2013, what was that called? Occupy Wall Street. That was such a great turning point, and it doesn't get talked about in the mainstream. There's a couple videos on YouTube about it where where they started to go after the puppet masters, and then they just got subverted and corrupted, and they went from a class, which is classical communism, into race, which is globalism. It's a whole different. It's different. It has some of the accoutrements of communism, Bolshevism, but it's really just a tool to destroy society, which they've obviously very effectively done. And they hate it when games like this come out or movies come out or what was Wolverine versus Deadpool, just a milquetoast movie, but it just wasn't over the top girl power like those past movies over several movies over the past 5 years that were over the top girl power. Wonder Woman Part 2 was the first example, and it came out like 2020, I think, beginning of the Wooflu. Horrible movie, super diverse girl power, and nobody went and saw it, and it's, nobody even paid to see it on streaming. It was a massive bomb because people are not into this kind of stuff. Lack of diversity is adding fuel to the wrong fire. Diversity is a bad thing, and I don't think we're afraid of it, but people don't want to financially support it. They don't want it in their personal lives. They don't want it in games and stories. It's okay that you value it, and I'm sure there's plenty of games and movies that you can go wallow around in, but like I said, people just aren't buying those Sweet Baby games. And they got really triggered when the guy, Sweet Baby Detected, was talking about these kind of things. It's like, shouldn't you be proud of you making these games woke, your involvement with the company? It's like, why were you so triggered by that? Because they know they screwed it up. Like, every time they touched a game, they made it. It was a bunch of, POX, POC, BLT, trans, furry, otherkin type of stuff. And you got to just be more upright about saying that you're not into that kind of stuff. You don't have to explain it, because they have to sell you the game. You don't have to sell your reason why you don't want it. Like, I'm just not into diversity. I want to see everyone in this Chinese game, but I want to see everyone out of like Nordic central casting. Just give me more, all the protagonists, blonde hair, blue eye, that kind of thing. Just make them look like Vikings, like real Vikings. It's a job description, not a race. Whatever. You're still a soy boy, and make the bad guys POCs. That's the game that I think would probably sell to people, and they just lose their fucking mind if you said something like that, which is why it's important. So diverse cast of characters makes games more believable. We don't care about that. It helps female and minority players feel represented. We don't care about them. Diversity helps break down stereotypes, like the utterly untrue notion women don't enjoy games. I don't think that's really probative or relevant, because this game is selling very well, and it's probably a 95% male audience, but it doesn't matter because it's selling, so that's not on point. Facilitates richer narratives and fosters creative storytelling. No, it's not. See, this is all just globalism 101. Organic storytellings are very far-right, nationalist, blood tribe, ethno-nationalist. They're very family-focused, and family is your extended family, is your ethnicity, your tribe. Nations used to be, before globalism, natal of the people, the tribe of people. That's organic storytelling, and we have that like in our genes from 10 million years since we came down out of the trees. And that's very tightly tied into us. And what communists do is they invert everything. They use this Bolshevik found family concept, and you see it in comic books all the time. I used to talk about it. And it's you cut off your blood family to find this new diverse family. It's outgroup preferences that they're trying to push, because that destroys stability. So then they come together for some challenges, and they overcome like Andor Star Wars kind of had some of that vibe where though it was kind of complicated, because now they have to put diversity on both antagonists and protagonists. So it's kind of weird where you had this blonde chick who was supposed to be like the Hugo Boss type of character, but then there was a black guy next to her who was, and they were just representing the like the British Empire type of stuff, and there were non-English people in there. But it's that bullshit found family concept, outgroup preference. So they come together, they battle something, and then afterwards, like, oh, they just living in peaceful Wakanda. It's like, well, no, because they're different people. Humans aren't fungible. Races and ethnicities and tribes aren't fungible. They have interests adverse to each other. What happens? Say the three Abrahamic religions. You're seeing this play out today. What happens if you put them all together in the same area? Oh, it's endless conflict. Oh, but it's our strength. No, that's a lie. They're lying to you. The whole everything's coming from these globalist mouths is a lie. They're lying to you, and people are not comfortable they're not. A lot of people are not familiar with people who look you in the eye and lie to you, unless you're in a certain industries. But that's what these people are all about. They're pushing this. Like, there's no better propaganda than movies and TV and comics. And the white pill is that it's become so heavy-handed that people aren't exactly calling out the propaganda. They just say they're not into it. So all these things that this pussy values, we don't value. And to make as sure as many people can enjoy it as possible. So that concept is, if you throw all these different sexualities and nonsense in there and races in there and religions in there, then all those people will buy it. But clearly that's not true, because this game, I think, is like all animal characters, and it's, I don't know, in China or something, there's not a whole lot of females in it, and it's selling like hotcakes. So all the things you're saying, your argument doesn't lead to your conclusion, and all your values that build up your opinions and your argument, we don't share those values. We're in-group focused. We're very, I don't know, base, right wing. Tribalist. We're not globalists. We're not soy boys. We're in general, we're going to want the opposite of what you want. And if there's something like a sweet baby type of thing, so we consider you the toxic community. And I was going to show his picture again. That's being a little bit petty, and it's a shame because, like I said, he's got the raw materials. He's got great hair. Just drop a couple of pounds of fat, and this dude could be a Chad. It's like, you don't have to be a soy boy pussy if you don't want to be. Safe space for everyone. Well, that doesn't work. Is that concept of inclusion, diversity, equity, and putting everyone together, and you're going to make something strong? It's like, no, that's to alter, to make weak. People hate each other, and if you put groups with different interests together, you can't make a safe space for everybody. People are very tribal. People self-select their own spaces, and that's usually going to break down along ethnicity or religion or other kind of factors. But these globalists want to externalize everything. They want to create spaces to force these bizarre, toxic left-wing viewpoints into the sphere of normal people. And gamers, at least, are a little bit more honest, where they're able to say, like, oh, this is cancer, which is what you have to say to these kind of people. Where, I hate to say physiognomy tells you a story, but it does. And attacking someone's appearance, but it's relevant because he's saying physiognomy is real, and there's a lot of truth to that. Another sweet baby dick. Okay, I did like those posts. You crying little baby, stop trying to force diversity. It doesn't belong to the ancient Chinese. Diversity kills franchises. Yeah, we're just saying that we don't value it. There are women in China, yeah, but we don't want to see them in games. Or I haven't played the game, of course. These people don't want to see them in games, and the game is selling really well. So, none of your argument makes sense. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and always push back against these people. Don't let them push this out there. He's got this Twitter out there. He's got 3 likes and like 25 comments, just putting him soy boy self out there. But you got to crap all over these people, and some of the personal insults are relevant because, like, the physiognomy, it's like there really is something to that. I mean, there's, I don't want to name a bunch of people from like Joe Glass and Mags Visagio types. It's like a lot of people you can look at, and you can kind of go, oh, we're not going to share anything in common with you. You're going to have far left-wing values. We're not going to have whatever you're selling. We're not going to be buying. We want, like, the further opposite. Whoever you're calling far right Chad Nazis, that's the stuff we're going to be on board with. And yes, you said all your ad hominems and your straw man and your deflection, but what you're selling, people just aren't buying anymore, especially now as the pendulum swings back. Anyway, we'll see you guys on the next episode.